Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is good to be back. A couple of weeks off from the show, and we're back. Even though we had a couple of technical difficulties getting the show back up and running today, OBS decided to do an update, and then I had just a bear of a time logging back in. So we have a lot of information for you guys tonight. Not only do we have news and notes for 2 weeks, and we had a lot going on over those 2 weeks, we also have a little bit of a trip recap from our latest family trip, where we spent 10 days split up between the parks and a cruise on the Disney Dream. On top of that, Peter from Princesses and the Mouse is going to join us tonight. So we have him to talk about as well, and he's kind of getting everything set up over in his studio or office or where his wife lets him put the computer in a light. So he's getting set up right now, and we have a lot going on. So if you are watching tonight, thank you very much. We are on YouTube tonight, the Disney Planning Insights podcast. Over on Twitch, Matt_DPI. On Twitter, at Disney Insights. And on Facebook, Matt Heidel is the page you're looking for, Haidle. You can see that spelling down here eventually. So if you're looking to book a trip, a couple of places where you can do that. You just saw it down at the bottom at PATM Disney Travel over on Facebook. Or you can go to the website, and that website address will pop up at the bottom of the screen. But it is patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning if you want to see the website and check that out. So like I said, a lot going on. So let me go over and get Peter from Princesses and the Mouse and start getting some news out. Hey Peter, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Still tired. I think it finally hit me today how tired I really was getting back from the trip. But glad to be back. Not glad that it's 30 freaking degrees outside, but it is Indiana in March, so what do I expect?
First of all, it is 40 degrees outside. I know that because I just spent the last several hours outside with my golfers. Barely made it in time for the show. It was nip and tuck. Many of them were shaking violently as they handed me their scorecards. So, fun times.
Yeah, fun times. So let's talk about a few things that are going on at the parks. We've got some big news. We'll start with the big news that came out today. One of the shows. Now we talked about before I left. The Luau Spirit of Aloha show was not coming back. It has completely been axed officially, unless it comes back in some form within this new Polynesian tower that they're putting up. So it's not completely out of the question, but the Luau as we know it and love it is not returning. But what is returning is Hoop-Dee-Doo Review over at Fort Wilderness. Now, have you done this show before?
I have. Hoop-Dee-Doo, a couple of years ago, we towed the camper down there for a fall break. We had my four, plus we had my wife's parents, and we had my parents. So the 8 of us all did this mega Disney vacation. My parents stayed in the lot, or in the what's the word I'm looking for?
Campsite?
No. So I had a campsite. My in-laws, who also have a trailer, had the campsite next to us. And then my parents stayed in the bunkhouses.
The cabins?
Cabin. My God, I don't know why I could not come up with the cabin. So yes, it was fantastic. And of course, while we were at Fort Wilderness staying there, we absolutely one of the nights booked a Hoop-Dee-Doo. And it was an absolute blast. All you can eat food. It's like down home country cooking. So you're talking, you got chicken and ribs and corn on the cob and mashed potatoes. And it's just fantastic food. And then top it all off, the show is just hilarious, full of wonderful, wonderful people with plenty of talents from singing to dancing to comedy. Great, great time from start to finish. It is just an absolute blast. So yes, very excited that Hoop Doo is coming back. Also hoping that an acquaintance of mine who was one of the actors of the show hopefully get a call back and are able to come back, because I think right now they're working like finance in South Dakota or something like that. A far cry from one of the leads in the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think about that. When Disney shut down, a lot of these people had to go find different jobs. So it was just like, what do you do if you're, somebody that was in Hoop-Dee-Doo or the Luau or a character cast member? There's a lot of people that were kind of displaced that had to find things that it wasn't just like a lateral move for them.
Right.
So, other big news coming back is the minivans. We finally got confirmation that the minivans are coming back this summer. Well, first let's tie up that Hoop-Dee-Doo news. June 23rd is going to be the first show. Reservations are going to start next month on the 26th. So May the 26th for reservations, June the 23rd on the first show. Now let's move to minivans, because one of the things that I want to talk about a lot on my trip was transportation, and some of the issues that we had with transportation while we were there. So with that being said, minivans are coming back. How do we know minivans are coming back? Well, because Disney actually finally said it, and there is a casting call, which is kind of how they do all of their job openings, for drivers for the minivan service, which is really cool. Hopefully a lot of the same people come back, because that was one of my favorite services to use on site when I didn't want to use a bus or the Skyliner or the monorail or something like that. So have you used the minivan service?
Yes, I did. We used the minivan service over like an Uber or a Lyft one time. And so minivans also book through the Lyft app, by the way.
Yes.
So just for our viewers, I know you know that obviously, but just so everybody knows, minivan is like a service in conjunction with Disney that's sort of provided through Lyft. It's really funky. But you also kind of like notice that if you take any rideshare around Disney, every rideshare location says like sponsored by Lyft or something along those lines. So it's really fun. But yes, I have taken the minivans. Here's the advantage of minivans over a standard rideshare. They will all drop you off up by the security, as opposed to where the standard ride shares are located. So for example, Hollywood Studios, rideshare pickup and drop off is all the way in the far bus depot. But the minivans will actually come into the parking lot and drive you all the way up to the bend right next to the security checkpoint. Magic Kingdom, the minivan, like all the other ride shares, they drop you off at TTC at the Ticket Transportation Center. Minivans go to where the buses go. They will drive you right up into the bus area and drop you off right there. So minivans are a little pricier, but you literally get to jump into a vehicle. I think, what are they, Chevy? Are they Chevy Equinoxes or something like that?
So they were the Equinoxes. I think they put them all over to Tahoes.
Okay. So, like, but they're red with a bunch of white dots on them. Like, how whimsical and fun to just climb in that vehicle. So, I know you are a big fan of minivans, so I'm sure you are elated to have this news that the minivans are coming back sooner rather than later.
I am elated. Because, one of the big things with Disney right now is you can't take a bus from a park to Disney Springs. And I'm sorry, I just popped a window up over your face over there. But you can't take a bus from a park to Disney Springs. And we tend to do that a lot, especially on Animal Kingdom Day. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. probably make a whole episode about it, which we did. So just foreshadowing about an Animal Kingdom episode that's coming out. But the minivan service is not just like your average Lyft service. It's a Disney cast member. And they are extremely knowledgeable about the parks. So if you do have questions about where you're going, what you're doing, something that might be going on around the parks, you can ask them, and they usually have really good answers. On top of that, they play great music. So they've got their own USB sticks that are kind of geolocation sticks. So if you're going to Art of Animation Resort, your driver has the resort loop from Art of Animation on. If you're going to Walt Disney World, to the Magical Kingdom,
Stop it. No one else knows that reference. That was a silly reference, and now you just look silly for saying that.
They play Main Street USA loop music for that ride.
Also, it was not me, because that made it seem like it was something that I said.
No, it was not something. It's not something that you said. Something that was in a conversation last night. Yes. That was. It ended up being pretty hysterical.
Move on. Talk about the music.
Moving on. So, and then Peter had talked about the pickup locations. Now, the one problem with minivans is they are kind of limited. Even though there's hundreds of them, at park open and park close, it can be very tough. And you're paying a premium price. You are in that Lyft Black XL pricing, where to get from Magic Kingdom to Pop Century, it's a $38 ride. Is it worth it? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's fantastic. Sometimes, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, so I grabbed one. I grabbed one back in the day when you had to like line up at Hollywood Studios like crazy, hella early in the morning. We came out of our resort and we came out of our room and we looked at the line for the bus, and it was like, oh my God, it was going to take us an hour to get it in on a bus, and the buses hadn't even started running yet. And then I had a minivan to me in like 7 minutes, and I was at the park in like 15. It was just an absolute game changer.
I'm still having problems finding where it's going live on YouTube. YouTube's being a bear tonight because I didn't do it the same way that I always do, because I had to relog in and do a lot of goofy stuff. So
nice censorship. Good job.
Yeah. Speaking of YouTube, did you know YouTube has blocked? So
I saw that.
It blocked our For the First Time in Forever video.
I know. I got the movie, or I got the email too.
So I'm like, I'm disputing it right now, because at the beginning of the show, they recommend, hey, take videos. This is what you should do here. So
yeah.
basically,
right, but I think it was because the song is in it, so it got flagged.
So it flagged the Olaf part.
Right.
Where he says, I don't have a skull or bones.
Right.
And that's what it flagged.
Right.
So, YouTube, we're going to fight. We're going to go round and round about this one. Also, coming up on the YouTube channel, I just uploaded Festival of Fantasy Parade. We were on the right side outside of the hub. It is fantastic. That so great to see a full-blown parade back. That was pretty awesome. So, really cool there. Okay, other news that we've got from around the parks. Disney Wish. Disney Wish, they've announced a lot as far as the shopping and experiences that are coming. Bippity Boppity Boutique, some of the renderings for that have been released. It is enormous. And then the shopping strip. So all of the ships have basically a deck level that's the theaters and shopping. So like the Dream that we were on, you have the Walt Disney Theater, the Buena Vista Theater, and then the rest of that deck is shopping until you get to the main lobby. And the shopping will consist of a couple of nights, like a jewelry store, a couple of real nice apparel stores that have your cruise apparel and that kind of stuff on it. And normally there'll be like a swimwear and swim stuff store on that as well. The Wish just released theirs today, and they are going to have the largest collection of Pandora jewelry anywhere on the boat.
Wait, in the world?
That's what they're making it sound like.
On a boat?
On a boat. So,
I feel like we should keep singing that song.
Yeah.
I'm on a boat.
But yeah, it really, really cool to see more and more coming out about the Wish. It's still delayed back into August right now for the first sailing. So I'm sure as soon as we see that first sailing, everybody will have videos and reviews and all that kind of fun stuff up. I was kind of sad because on my boat, one of my favorite Twitter people was on the boat, but I didn't see she was on the boat until after we got off the boat, because I just basically turned off my phone, my cell service, and all my data, like right when I got to the ship. Yeah, it was a poor decision.
Just shared a drink and talked all about stuff.
Other news. Let's see. I need to pull up my Twitter.
I want to know more about your vacation.
Yeah, we're going to get to that here in a second.
Well, I'm just saying. That's the only reason I'm here.
Disney Cultural Representative Program is coming back. So this was from the 25th, so the end of last week. And they are reaching out to people that had their terms shortened or canceled because of COVID. Those are going to be the first people that get the offers, and then they are going to kind of extend it from there. So good to come back, and it looks like the first group is going to be coming in August.
And we already kind of knew. We've talked several shows before about the fact that we knew and had heard kind of the inklings that, you know, the groundwork was being put in place for that program to come back. So yes, it is great to hear kind of parameters and dates and plans and all that stuff. So that's really exciting. But so I'm really looking forward to maybe even as early as fall break, walking into Epcot and not seeing a bunch of flag shirts everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, Tep and Ito, we ate there again. We snagged a reservation really late. Ate at Tep and Ito. Most of the staff there was from Japan. Yeah. Our initial hostess.
Were they from Japan?
So our table hostess and our chef both were. But
legitimately?
Yes.
Because did I tell you the story when I went down in fall break last year? In China, there was a guy that said Hong Kong on his tag. And I was like, oh, cool. And he was wearing like the traditional, you know, China garb.
Yeah.
I go, oh, yeah, you're from Hong Kong. That's so excited to see like people back from the actual nation. He goes, dude, I'm from San Francisco and I was born in San Francisco and my parents were from Hong Kong. So they were like, let's put Hong Kong on his tag.
Yeah, no, the only one that wasn't was, so in Tep and Ito, you have like an initial hostess that comes and greets you, then you have a secondary hostess, and then you have your chef. Our initial hostess wasn't, our secondary hostess was, and then our chef was. So,
okay. Making sure we're being legit.
Yeah, the only other news I have is Shanghai Disneyland closing indefinitely, starting March 21st due to COVID. It's still closed. Hong Kong's doing the same thing, both of those parks. China's really been strict about shutting things down when it came to COVID. So not necessarily a surprise. You know, it's amazing that you have parks that are completely shut down, and then you've got parks like Paris now that are completely wide open, that there are no restrictions, that character meet and greets are back, and everything's back. So, you know, you are 100% across the spectrum when it comes to the status at Disney parks right now. So
You just
really,
described the difference between a communistic and a democratic government.
yeah.
That was part of, by the way,
All
you just
right.
said the two extremes, and then you said somebody with a democratic society, somebody with a communistic society.
All right. So let's talk about trips. So we just got back from 10 days
Yes.
at Walt Disney World, and we did a 4-night cruise on the Disney Dream, which has been 3 years in the making. Because we initially booked it in September of.
Yeah, as the guy that's booked it for you 6 times, I can attest.
So yeah, and you know that's part of the reason you have a travel agent, though, because the rebooking process, we were able to kind of figure out things that why we weren't getting the money back that we should have been getting and that kind of stuff. So if you are rebooking with Disney Cruise, 2 things you got to watch out for. Port fees and taxes are non-refundable. So once you book that cruise and pay in full, those port fees and taxes are gone, even if you don't cruise. We lost them twice. On top of that, the insurance says it is refundable independently, but the insurance will not cover cruises that don't sail due to COVID, which I thought was the biggest bunch of BS in the world. But they took our money twice there as well. So
I think that was part of the reason why when Disney offered the refund or part of that is why Disney gave the 150% to sort of ease the burden of the non-refundables that occurred.
Yeah.
So,
And it ended
but
up.
yes, it was a little bit of a wait. 150% should be this, but we really have this.
Yeah, 125% is what it was, not 150.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but it ended up where we both of our staterooms had cruise credits going into this cruise, which was really nice when it came to buying drinks, getting specialty cocktails, getting some different stuff around the boat.
You just said buying drinks 3 times, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like buying drinks, getting cocktails, having other specialty things.
And the other thing that we found out is if you utilize most of your cruise credit, they said it was a non-refundable cruise credit. They refunded the rest of it back to our cards.
What?
Yeah. So we had some extra money at Disney Springs the last day. So let's go over the trip. Got there on a Wednesday night. Had the worst experience with Music Connect that we could possibly have. Not only was it bad because it was super late. So we got into the airport 20 minutes late. So 20 minutes after our initial arrival time, we got into the airport. We waited over an hour for our luggage. We waited 40 minutes for our Mears Express, or Mears Connect. I'm going to keep saying Mears Express. Mears Connect.
Technical Connect.
Once we got down to the queue for Mears Connect, and then we had a really beat down bus that played country music over half their speakers, which were broken and crackling the whole way to Disney. It was not a magical start to the vacation. We get to Pop Century and we don't have adjoining rooms. Not only that, one of our rooms is not ready yet, and this is at, like 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
So we're sitting at the front desk and we're like, what the hell are we going to do? So they got us rooms at least in the same building. We were in that 50s building that you and I were in when we went on our trip. So right there, it was really nice when the Skyliner line, we would basically let the Skyliner line come back to our building. That we just walk out to the...
That's what you and I did too, because from our room we could see the Skyliner line and we were like, oh, it's starting to lengthen out. We better go.
So it ended up working out, and Disney was really nice about it because it's the second time that we've had problems with a travel party going. So they actually gave us one of those no strings attached forms for our quick service restaurant, which we used at the plaza to get some ice cream, which was really nice. First day at the parks, we went to Epcot. Rode Ratatouille first thing in the morning. if you do not do an individual lightning lane or early morning magic, wait till about 10 o'clock. Everybody that has those early individual lightning lanes runs into Ratatouille and uses them like right when the park opens. And then from there, the standby line goes in relatively quick. We saw very few people going into the individual lightning line when we were in line at 10 o'clock. So I don't know if it was timed well. It was a 75-minute wait posted. It took us about 60 minutes to get through it. It wasn't bad at all. And we were all the way out to the bridge between France and the United Kingdom. From there, yeah, did a bunch of cool stuff at Epcot. Did we do anything new at Epcot this trip? Ratatouille. We ate some stuff for Flower and Garden. Canada Pavilion. Can't go wrong there. Got drinks at there's a little shack between Morocco and the US that was really good, where the little Encanto garden is. They had a grapefruit lemonade that was really good.
There's some ciders. There's a cider house between Canada and UK, kind of just to the left of Rose and Crown. Did you happen to go by there and get a cider flight?
I did not. It was on my radar, but by the time we had made it back up over that way, I wanted to be on the other side to tape for Harmonious. So I ended up not getting that. We went to Beaches and Cream, got ice cream at Beaches and Cream, ate at Tep and Edo, ate at Trattoria in the morning. So kind of our normal Epcot day. Trattoria for breakfast, Tep and Edo for dinner, grab something from one of the booths when we feel hungry during the middle of the day, and then hopefully we can get to Beaches and Cream for ice cream, which we did after Harmonious. Went to the walk-up window. They didn't have the kitchen sinks. They actually didn't have the bowls for them, so they wouldn't give them to you, but you could order basically anything else from the walk-up window, even though it wasn't on the menu out there. Second day, Hollywood Studios. Did Tower of Terror, early morning magic. Worked out well. Another long line. We were back to the shopping. I don't know if I sent you the picture, but I took a picture with my phone, and we were actually, they hadn't opened up the queue line back at Tower of Terror yet. They had us lined up down Sunset, and basically when you made that turn onto Sunset, we only went past a couple of the shops before we were in the line for Tower of Terror.
So like well before the bathroom split?
Yeah.
And I am shocked. Tower of Terror gets the, outside of Rise of the Resistance, of course, Tower of Terror seems to get the biggest line first thing in the morning beyond Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people working from one end of the park and in, because you figure Tower of Terror is the farthest towards the Phantasmic side that you can get.
Yeah.
So if you knock that out, then you can hit Rock and Roller Coaster, and then you've basically completed that side of the park.
Yeah, and you can just leave and be like, okay, now it's time to spend Toy Story Star Wars.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we did, is we stayed up in that classic area most of the morning, hit Mickey and Minnie's. What did we do for, we did a Starbucks breakfast. So.
Oh yeah, I saw you had your picture of Allie is like just a phenomenal picture of, and I knew exactly what was going on. I was like, oh, they had Starbucks breakfast at Hollywood Studios, because I recognized that table.
But yeah, I mean, did a lot of the big things. Like Epcot, we rode Test Track, we rode Spaceship Earth, we rode Nemo, we rode Figment, we did Ratatouille.
Did we do any Genie Plus?
No Genie Plus.
No Genie Plus? Okay.
When we went back to ride Frozen, so the goal was Harmonious is at 9 o'clock. So we left Tep and Edo. We kind of slow rolled around the top side of World Showcase to get over to Norway. When we got to Norway, family was going to ride Frozen Ever After. I was going to get set up for Harmonious. It was closed. So they ended up doing something else, and then they came.
Caballeros.
What's that?
3 caballeros.
No, I don't even know what they did. I don't remember what they did.
He was in the zone trying to get ready to film.
But they ended up meeting me there. I was just outside Norway, so I got that wide angle shot between Norway and Mexico. Turned out really nice, so I'm going to be working on that here soon. But yeah, we got to see the Liberty Bells, the a cappella group that sings in the American Pavilion. We hadn't done that before. We watched the American Experience, which we've done, but it's always a good show, especially when Epcot's hot, and it was hot that day, just to get out of that sun for a while. So yeah, like I said, we got a lot done each day without Genie Plus, but it was a lot different. Really, the day that I feel like we did the least was Magic Kingdom. We got fooled on a line at Jungle Cruise, and what happened was we got into a lightning lane rush at Jungle Cruise. So we rope dropped, we rode Seven Doors Mine Train, and then we came back up, got our breakfast, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna let that morning rush at Jungle Cruise kind of hit it and move on back over into Frontierland, over to Splash and Big Thunder Mountain and that kind of thing. So when we got to Jungle Cruise, it was saying like a 70-minute wait, and I was like, okay, that's not a big deal. We'll do that. We'll hit Pirates, not a big deal because Pirates was at 40. Jungle Cruise ended up being over 2 hours. Yeah, and there's kind of like, I think the tipping point for Jungle Cruise is about like an hour and a half. If it's a posted 90-minute, I don't think I'd get in that line.
Right.
But a posted 70-minute, I'm like, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Boy. Ooh.
So that kind of killed our morning. We didn't end up doing a lot after that because we met Mike and Darlene once they got into the park. And then we had a 3 o'clock at Be Our Guest.
Nice.
So we ate, went back into Frontierland, caught the 50th Celebration Cavalcade. We caught the Adventure Friends Cavalcade, which is awesome. And in that video and the one for Friendship Fair, the stage show that came back to Magic Kingdom, I am going to point out people that are just a-holes during the show. Because in Friendship Fair, we have a family come up in the last musical section of the show, and they walk right up to the front of the rope with a kid on their shoulders and block everybody behind them that have been there the whole show. And then in the Adventure Friends Cavalcade, somebody comes out from behind. There's that popcorn cart in Frontierland.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of right across the opening over by Country Bears.
Yeah, and Pecco's Bill and all that. Yep.
Yeah, and somebody pops out in front of that popcorn cart right in front of the second float. So they have to stop the float. They've got to clear the path. Then they got to restart the... I was like, come on. It's not like you can't hear the music.
Some people
So I'm going to point
oblivious to the world around them.
So I'm going to point them out in the videos. Don't be these people.
It's like giant arrows and highlighters and
exactly.
Like Genie's applause lights. Just like, more.
But past that, every day we tried to do something new or do something that we hadn't done before. Like we actually made phone cases at Space Mountain.
Addie and I did that when she and I were down there for her birthday trip. We went in, got off Space Mountain, and made a phone case for her. So
yeah, we had all the new shows, new parade, all that kind of stuff at Magic Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, we rode Dinosaur. We haven't ridden Dinosaur in a long time. We did Tough to Be a Bug.
Yeah, we haven't been on that in a while. I should go on that next week.
Yeah, so we did some stuff like that was either we haven't done Tough to Be a Bug before. We did the bird show, which we'd never done before.
Oh, that's a good show. I've done that 3 or 4 times. I really enjoy the Up show.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. They've taken all the Up theming out of it.
Yeah, and well, the Up theming was really just in the very beginning. Doug and Russell did some stuff, and then they were gone. Yeah. So it's never been like super uppy.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. We ate at Tamu Tamu, which if you're looking for your Dole Whip at a different location with some more twists to it, I got a sour apple Dole Whip. Yeah, it was the pineapple whip with sour apple drizzle on it.
Where'd you get that at?
What's that?
Where'd you get that?
Tamu Tamu, right across from Dawa Bar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they always have because they've had like the Simba one before.
Which they've still got the Simba one.
Yeah, they have some unique ones there. Yeah, I've had some good stuff, but that's good to know because I will be at Animal Kingdom Saturday morning. So I haven't been to Animal Kingdom. Addie and I didn't go there. I didn't go there when I went a few weeks ago. So we're gonna go to Animal Kingdom a couple times.
There you go. Lots of good things. We watched Kite Tales from Flame Tree Barbecue.
Was that a pretty good view? Because I love Flame Tree Barbecue as a viewing spot.
It's not as good as it was for Rivers of Light.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the advantage to watching Rivers of Light from there was being ahead of the crowd then leaving. Yeah. Versus, Kite Tales just kind of have. Did any take a nosedive?
No. But they didn't. They also didn't have the blue kite, so I think something happened to it earlier in the day. Because I saw it up in one of the earlier shows, and then in our show, it wasn't up. So. But yeah,
I really want to watch like one of those massive kite animals face plant. I'm really looking forward to that.
So a lot of good at the parks. The parks. I think we're at a point now to where we probably aren't going to go back. We probably won't go back after Guardians opens. We're probably going to wait until character meet and greets come back.
I'm waiting. So obviously I'm going next week. But then I'm kind of the same. So I think, I should be as long as the Labor Day happens or the Memorial Day happens because I'm going back in June. Yeah. But then I probably won't go back down to the World until Tron opens. I think that's my next benchmark of like Tron's open date. I'll try to like slide down there a few weeks after that or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to parks, we're really, really looking at Paris next year.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that. And my family, like, it's not that we won't be going to Disney. My family is really looking at fall break either being a cruise or land. So I'm working on pricing out one of those things. And then the other thing, whatever we don't do in fall this year, will probably be like what we do in spring next year. And then that should give us enough time for Tron to open by I think Tron should be open by this time next year. Or potentially like a Memorial Day type thing.
Yeah. I would think, I think they want to have it open before the end of the 50th celebration, which is March of next year.
Right. So, yeah, I see it being open. And so if I kind of have a fall break and a spring break of next year kind of plan for a cruise in Disneyland, then by the time Tron should be open and good to go by the time we plan to go back, which will probably be like fall of 23, something like that, back down to the World.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the cruise because...
Oh my gosh, yes, I want to hear so much because I'm going to go book one if you convince me to.
I might, but I will say, I was asked by somebody on Twitter if I enjoy Walt Disney World or the cruise line more, and my answer was Walt Disney World gives you more distractions from the things that are missing than the cruise line does. You're reminded every day that you're on the boat that they've got restrictions in place. You're wearing a mask to a show. You're doing a distance meet and greet with a character. Your kids are waiting in line to get into a pool. Every day there's something to remind you that there's restrictions on the boat. So let's start with getting over there. We took a limo over there. That was really stinking cool. We took a limo from Pop Century over to the dock, to the port, and went through the COVID protocol. It wasn't hard at all. Honestly, just keep out your ID the whole way through, and you get a little barcode on your port arrival form. If you have those two things out, you kind of breeze through everything as long as you have clear to arrive on your thing. So we did the COVID stuff. You wait in a little holding tent. They've got 4 holding tents, and they kind of rotate them as people come in. We estimated that the cruise was about 65%, and it looked absolutely empty everywhere. There were very few places where you could feel like there was a lot of people. Even in these holding tents, they were only putting in about 50 people in a holding tent at a time. You would wait in there 10-15 minutes until you got your clear to sail. It'd come through as an email. You got your clear to sail. You went over to the port and started actually going through the actual port arrival process, checking in. Kids get magic bands on the cruises. Special magic bands to get them into the Oceaneers lab. So that's something that I didn't know about, which was really kind of cool, because I thought they just used their key to the world card for everything like we do. They don't. They get special magic bands, and that was pretty awesome for them. The boat is amazing. If you've never been on a cruise, just the scale of the boat is outrageous. I will say that if we do cruise again, we are going to find the same exact room that we had on this past cruise and find it on every boat. The veranda that we had was 25% larger than every other veranda on the back of the boat, just because we were in the dead center. So we walked out and it was probably 25 foot deep and it was probably 12 foot wide. It had 2 lounge chairs, 2 sitting chairs, a table on it, and there was still room that we could have brought over the 2 lounge chairs from the one beside us, their 2 sitting chairs, and their table, and it wouldn't have felt like packed back there. We had that much room. We could also see the fireworks from our veranda, which was awesome because we were so high up, and where they came off the ship, you could see the fireworks the day they did the fireworks there. The meal rotation's really cool. So you stay with the same wait staff the whole time. You meet your wait staff on the first night. They get to know you. We had Diane and Gunawan for our wait staff. And they rotate with you through the different restaurants. So the first day we were at Animator's Palette, which in theory is an awesome restaurant. They have these sketches that come to life, kind of like the Turtle Talk with Crush, where they talk to the tables and that kind of stuff. They didn't do it. So we talked to the head, our head of our wait staff, and he was like, yeah, they just don't have the people to do it. So that was a big bummer, because that was one of the things I was really looking forward to.
Diane back there. Let's go.
Yeah. We did Enchanted Garden twice, and it was 2 different things at Enchanted Garden. So the first day was like the actual Enchanted Garden restaurant meal, which you meet Mickey and his friends. They come in, do a dance, song and dance. If you think of like Chef Mickey's, how they do that thing, kind of the same thing there. The second night was the Pirates night, so we stayed at Enchanted Garden for that, where they've got pirates come in and kind of recruit new pirates to their crew. So that was at Enchanted Garden as well. The last night we had Royal Palace. So Enchanted Garden is kind of themed to like Crystal Palace. It really looks like Crystal Palace, but if you take the white and turn it green. And that's Enchanted Garden. Nice. The last one was Royal Palace. It's royal table on the boat. The princesses come in, they walk around, they wave. All of the wait staff have special costumes for that restaurant as well. So food there in the restaurants, above average. But in talking after the cruise, it is very bland for a reason. They don't want people to have intestinal troubles on a cruise ship. So be prepared to salt and pepper just about everything you get. There were some good flavors. I tried some exotic salads, that kind of stuff. Really good desserts. But main courses, for the most part, were relatively bland. As far as like the grab-and-go counters, so the other stuff that was kind of included cabanas, which is their buffet area. Has breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is their big meal. Normally no line. They've got like 6 different stations that all serve the same thing. And then the ones that serve different things, there's like 2 of them, one on each side of the restaurant. So there was never big lines anywhere for any meal for anything. Food at Cabanas, okay. Their eggs were not good. Their scrambled eggs were not good. Their omelets were good. So it wasn't an egg thing. It was whatever they scrambled them with thing. They just weren't good. And then Mickey waffles, like the consistency of the Mickey waffles was different. Like one day they were really mushy. One day they were really hard. It's like they couldn't get the Mickey waffles right. And it was just like, that's a weird thing not to be able to get right.
You could just measure the same way every time.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it just all come out of the same bag? It doesn't matter what park it goes to. It all comes out of the same bag.
Yeah, right. It's all waffle mix bag.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird. As far as activities, the kids didn't get into any of the kids' zones. We just didn't have the time for it.
Wow.
We did a lot of swimming. We spent a lot of time on the pool deck. We watched a lot of movies. We hit all of the shows. The shows on the boats are very good. Our boat we were on the Dream. We had Charles Peacock the first night. He is a juggler that was on America's Got Talent. He was amazing, fantastic, funny. If he had a Vegas residency, I would go see him in Vegas. It was that good. Beauty and the Beast live on stage is award-winning, and it's for a reason. It was unbelievable. To see that on a cruise ship was fantastic. The third night was Turning Red. The Disney ships are the only theaters allowed to play Turning Red. So there were 4 big screens that you can watch Turning Red on. We saw it on the Disney Dream. It's just the 4 cruise ships that can play it. The last night was Disney's Believe, which is kind of a character-filled show. It's the journey of a father to believe in magic. The genie was great. The rest of the show, except for parts, was kind of like eh. But good cast. There was some cool stuff in it. Just overall, the show was like
meh.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would rate it between like Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular and Beauty and the Beast live on stage in Hollywood Studios, as far as where it would fit in like level of show. Like you've got great shows as far as Finding Nemo and Festival of the Lion King and Frozen for the first time in forever, and then you have probably Beauty and the Beast, and then this, and then Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
All right, I don't understand why you keep hating on Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
It's cool. It's just when it comes to like Disney stage shows, that's more of like a demonstration show and not a stage show.
Okay.
It just doesn't. No. Again, like I said, it had good parts. It had like the Lion King part's really cool. The Mary Poppins part's really cool, but it just misses in some areas. It's kind of disjointed, like I feel like Harmonious is. As far as it doesn't flow together really well. It's just kind of like scene from a movie, scene from a movie, scene from a movie, and there was one cohesive plot line, but it didn't like flow through the scenes really well. But yeah, past that, again, the ship was cool. The character meet and greets were awesome. And they would have been a lot better if the kids got to hug characters. Because you got to see some unique characters. You got to see some characters in some different outfits. We got to see Pirate Stitch, Hook and Smee, Captain Mickey, Captain Minnie. You know, there were a lot of different characters on the boat. It's just they were all distanced. And even when you got to Castaway Cay, it was the same thing. Characters were behind a rope or on a vehicle to where you couldn't get to them. So all of your pictures are just kind of like the kids in front, like they are in the parks right now.
How is Castaway Cay? Is Castaway Cay amazing?
It's awesome. It is really cool. Right now, like I said, with them not sailing full bore right now, it was easy to find beach chairs. It's March in the Caribbean right now. The water's still cold. The water was freezing cold when you got into it. It's fish water. I should go in October. Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool. It's bigger than it looks, but smaller than I expected. If that makes sense.
I mean, they own an island. How big do you want it to be?
Well, it's an island, but I mean, I can throw a rock in the ocean, and if it floats, it's an island.
Okay, if it floats, it's not a rock.
Okay, I can throw a piece of wood in the ocean. If it floats, it's an island.
No, it's a piece of wood in the ocean.
But no, it's not a huge island, but it's long. So from the time you get off the ship, there is a tram that kind of goes, because there's 3 very definitive beach areas. There's 2 family beaches, and then there's an adult section at the very, very end of Castaway Cay. A couple of shopping areas, 3 places to get food. Food's served from 11 to 3 every day on the island. And it's burgers and like brisket sandwiches and ribs and that chicken, that kind of stuff, like barbecue food. But yeah, no, it was cool. Lots of rentals there. There was a lot of things that you could rent when you got there, like floaties and rings and snorkel gear and that kind of stuff. The ray, they've got a little ray pool in the middle, a stingray pool in the middle that you could have gone into. A lot of the excursions were canceled when we were there because the sea was too choppy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was really, really windy. And that's something that I guess I wasn't expecting on the boat, was how windy it really was. It was hot, but it was windy. And when that wind hit you, it was a cold wind. So yeah, it was a different experience. Cool things about the ship, when you go to dinners, don't just order one thing off the menu. If you want to try 2 or 3 things, order everything.
First of all, you can say that about everywhere. Anything that's set price at Disney World too.
Yes.
Yeah. When I do that all the time. When I'm at like Topolino's or when I was at Hollywood and Vine, they ended up bringing me 3 different entrees. It's like, I can't decide between the risotto and the salmon. They're like, I'll bring you both. Like, yeah. Throw in the mac and cheese.
So I have a picture of Braden one meal where he ordered 3 entrees.
Yes.
He ordered
boss. That's what I'm talking about, Braden.
He ordered mac and cheese, fish nuggets, and something else. And then like Allie would order like appetizers off the kids menu, and then entrees off the adult menu, and then desserts wherever the best dessert was that night.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So, go with a big stomach, that's for sure, because you can eat a lot. Free ice cream, basically all day. Just soft serve. Yeah. At Ice Cream. The, it's a Monsters, Inc. reference.
Oh, I get it.
And then Luigi's is the little pizzeria on the Dream as well. That it has like a pizza place, it has a burger and chicken place, and it has like wraps, all in the same like bank of windows. So, like I said, a lot of different options. You know, if you didn't want to go to your restaurant for breakfast, you had Cabanas, and then your lunches you could go to Cabanas or any of the places on the deck and get stuff. Bars bars all over the place. We didn't get to experience the bars a whole lot because they have servers walking around on the deck the whole day.
Yes.
So we'd be at the chairs, order a drink, they'd bring the drink to us.
All right, hold on, I'm going on.
No reason to really go to a bar. We would have liked to have gone to the bar district, but with the kids, you know, we stayed with the kids the whole time, so that's kind of where we stayed the whole time, which was fine.
Yeah, and you could have sent them to their own lounge and then done your own thing.
Yeah, we could have.
Yeah,
we could have. We just didn't. No, it worked out. I mean, for the first cruise, I think we wanted to stay with them as much as possible. Coolest thing about the cruise was the character dance party. That was a ton of fun. So it was the night of Turning Red, I think. Was it the pirate night? Yeah, it had to have been.
I don't know. You're telling the story.
Yeah. So they have a dance party. So they have it twice. So they basically do everything on the boat twice.
Okay.
Because you have an early seating for dinner and a late seating for dinner. So they have an early show for the late seating and then a late show for the early seating. Then the fireworks they did like 8:30 fireworks, and then they had another set of fireworks at 10:30 for that late seating. So everything on the boat was done twice. So you could choose if you didn't want to go to your assigned dinner that night. You could go to Cabanas, get some food, go to Luigi's, whatever, and then you could go to the other show. So we could have watched every show twice. We could have watched the fireworks twice, that kind of stuff, if we wanted to. But the dance party was cool. It had a bunch of characters, bunch of like newer music. It was a lot of fun. I think that was probably the most packed that I saw the ship. I mean, even like during the day on our at sea day, the pool area was busy, but I wouldn't ever call it packed because they do have the chairs still spaced out a little bit and that kind of stuff. So it was, like I said, there were just reminders everywhere that everything was just kind of restricted. And that's what I took away from the cruise. Then our last day, you know, you can handle the last day of the cruise a lot of different ways. The ship actually gets into port really, really early in the morning, like 4:15. You have an assigned breakfast that morning, and then you leave basically right from there. So you take all your bags, you set them out the night before, and then everything that you're going to carry, you take with you to breakfast because you aren't going back to your room. You leave the boat. We were off the boat by 9, and then we went to Disney Springs. We hung out because our flight wasn't until 8:55 Friday night. So hung out at Springs, spent the rest of our money, and then came home.
Smart.
Yeah.
What an amazing week and 3 days.
Yeah. Any other questions about the cruise ship?
No, I'm actually looking at cruise right now.
No, again, it was a lot of fun. I don't want to sound like it wasn't fun. It was really, really cool. They do it really well. There were just some things that were off-putting. And I guess for me it comes from, I know what Disney used to be, so it's hard for me to see what Disney is.
So on that topic, it's been very interesting now in this last year booking clients, because you and I talk all the time about, oh, I missed this, oh, I missed that, oh, I missed that. and then I'll have clients who have been down there quite a bit, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, I really missed that," and I'm like, "Yeah, me too, right?" But then there's other clients that are like, "Hey, we're going to Disney for the first time," and I'm like, "Okay," and I just kind of lay out the parameters of everything, and they're like, "Okay, cool, yeah," and then they go and they're like, "It was amazing, and Genie Plus was awesome," and I was like, "Yeah, but you used to give it to me for free," you know, but like they're like, "Oh yeah, Genie Plus was awesome. It was awesome being able to be on my phone booking stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just as excited as you are." So it's all it's very much a matter of perspective, because you and I have a different perspective, because we you know, versus somebody just who goes right now for the first time ever. They're gonna be like, "Oh man, Disney's amazing," but like I said, for us having a different perspective of being able to compare then and now and all of that stuff, you know, it would be curious to talk to somebody who's a bit more seasoned than us even, and listen to them talk about like, "Oh, I remember before there was that fourth park. Yeah. I remember when it was MGM Studios, and I used to be able to take the tram and do the studio backlot tour," you know. Like,
hey, I did the studio backlot tour.
So did I when I was, really young. So I barely remember it. I remember the spaceship from Flight of the Navigator was there, and I don't know, some other stuff.
The scene from Catastrophe Canyon was its own ride at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, and I like vaguely remember the Jaws ride.
That was at Universal.
Oh, my fault. Oh, you're right. Yeah, and then they filled that in, and that's where the Hulk coaster is now, I think.
No, but close, I think.
It's close to that area, yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway.
We're not Universal fans by any means.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go next Tuesday.
There you go.
1 week from today. So I don't know if you want me to go on the show to show you the light show on Hogwarts Castle. I suppose I could.
I was going to say, you could tape it.
Yeah. Next Tuesday is my son's Christmas present, because he is finally over 54 inches. So I got 1 day of Universal 2-park tickets with the line skipper.
Oh, that was $220 a ticket. Oh, yikes.
Just the 2-park ticket. That's the price for the 2-park ticket for a day.
And we complain about Disney pricing.
Yeah, it was so my wife and myself and my 12-year-old and my dad, we're all going while Grandma spends time with my daughter. And I think it cleared around like 320. Yeah. I think I paid somewhere in like the $1,200 to $1,300. Yeah, for a day. But it's going to be an amazing day, because we have the line skipper. So yeah, we're going to be able to wait in line for the Hager's Motorbike Adventure. We're going to be able to wait in line for Velocicoaster, and then we're going to be able to skip every other line once. Yeah. So all I got to do is get there and wait in line, and then enjoy my day, and towards the end of the day, wait in line. So it'll be okay. And it'll be awesome, because we'll also then be able to experience Diagon Alley and enjoy the shops without being like, "Oh, we have to get in line." Yeah. So it'll be good.
No, excited. So how long are you guys down there next week?
Well, we were there Saturday to Saturday, and I am fed up with my life. So we're now down there Friday to next Saturday, because I just added on, literally this morning, I added on a room at Caribbean Beach for Friday night. So instead of leaving Friday and getting there Saturday, we're leaving as soon as physically possible on Thursday night and getting there Friday. So I was like, why are we just going to wait till Friday morning? Like, let's just go Thursday night. I'll just drive through the night. You're going to do that after being exhausted? Yes. Red Bull gives me wings.
That sounds good. Well, be safe. So you won't be on the show next week.
I can. It'll just be not what the show's about.
And then we'll talk to you.
I better not, because it'll reinforce the clients that are like, hey, well, we're down at Disney World. We'd like to do Harry Potter Land. Which park is that in? Not Disney World. That's what park it's in.
Yeah, we don't want to confuse people. So no Peter on the show next week. So in 2 weeks we'll kind of recap your trip as well. So what you at Pauley this trip, or are you at Riviera? Riviera.
Yep.
So back at your home resort.
That's why I threw a night on at Caribbean Beach. I'm like, we're right next to it.
Yeah, you're like, can you just put us over in the Aruba section so that we can just walk from our room to Riviera?
Right, and we'll just leave the car parked.
Yeah.
Because it's all even like the parking area and all that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that is it.
Good talking to you tonight, Peter. Again,
it's a long show.
Yeah, Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. Find him over on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel, or on the website patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com. That is a fantastic look, even with the big tag on it.
Thank you. My wife's, we're getting ready to pack, so like all my wife's ears.
Yeah, we're going to get you off the screen as fast as possible.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll talk to you later, man. All right, everybody. That was Peter with Princesses of the Mouse Disney Travel again at PATM Disney Travel over on Facebook. patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com /planning if you just want to get over to the forum to request information about a trip. It is right down there right now. Check it out. But past that, thank you guys all for watching tonight. Let's go ahead and get into the close. Hey, we had a guest tonight. Peter from Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel came on. We talked about news and notes from the last couple of weeks and recapped my trip, my 10 days down there. DPI podcast. We're going to have a ton of photos coming up over the next few weeks. Over on Twitter at Disney Insights. And you'll see all the YouTube information after this, but it is the Disney Planning Insights podcast, and we will have quite a few videos. Back with another news and notes show next week. Thank you guys all for watching. Have a good week, and we will see you then.